Okay, I'm still here in Gävle with Sarah Dupels talking about Spiritism. And the next question I want to ask you was, who are the people that are drawn to contemporary Spiritism?
Well, actually, it's ordinary people, if you call them ordinary. It's everyday people that maybe don't see themselves as religious.
So it isn't the people who kind of entirely adopt an entire subculture?
No, it's not. It's a really normal religious life view, actually. It's very usual. And also you have the New Age people. There is also a subcategory that I call Neo-Spiritism.
Well, within the kind of New Age milieu, the New Age world?
Yes, well, I would say it's almost all the New Age people in this category.
Right, so it'd be quite unusual to find someone who was interested in New Age practice who didn't have a belief that fitted in with Spiritism.
Yes, it's very difficult to find.
So it'd be kind of core belief for many New Age people to have Spiritism to be part of that.
Yes, not just in the New Age.
No, of course, but so an awful lot of trying to think of the right word, ordinary people, people who don't identify as belonging to a New Age group or an unusual religious path, would nonetheless have Spiritist beliefs.
Yes.
So the people we'd have sitting in the houses around us and kind of, normal people were going to work, may well have these beliefs about there being another world.
Yes. I think it's in Sweden maybe it's 70% of the people. I think
really?
They have this Spiritist life view, but they usually don't talk about it. And of course it's a range in this belief also.
And what do you think draws people to this belief? Is it something that's always been there, or do you think it's kind of there's an attraction in that belief?
I think a spiritistic life view has always been there, but nowadays it's more in Sweden and maybe in England also. It's more allowed to talk about it, and also when we got secularized from the Christianity, the oral tradition, folk tradition, get raised.
So the kind of folk tradition that's always been there, I guess, kind of emerges out from behind the shadow of kind of organised Christianity.
Yes, it does.
Okay, that's kind of interesting.
And also, and it's emerged with the 19th century Spiritism or spiritualism.
Yes.
The religion. The folk religion and the spiritualism on the 19th century, in my research I have seen that it got merged.
So the spiritualist church, as they call in England, who has a kind of belief in mediums, draws on that folk tradition or gets kind of...
No, that is a different category.
Ah, really?
Yes.
Okay.
It's classical spiritism, I call it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's the 19th century spiritism, and it's not so much to do with New Age or the freedom of how you see things. It's more...
So I guess the kind of, in Sweden it's a very secular country, so you've seen that emerge more. In Britain, I guess there's a kind of a rise of secularism, or a rise of people not being kind of open about, say, atheism and things of this sort. So that kind of, you can't talk about that because it's against the church. It's kind of faded away, really, substantially.
Yes, and that is why you haven't talked so much about it in Sweden either before, because of the church. You shouldn't believe in spirits if you are Christian, and also because these kind of thoughts have been by nature science. They don't like you to talk about ghosts or spirits. No. So
it's kind of clash on one hand with the kind of traditional Christian church, but on the other hand with the kind of materialistic scientific worldview, where people were embarrassed to kind of not believe that.
Yes, but nowadays it's more usual to talk, and it's not that embarrassing anymore. So you also see it on TV and shows. So
it's more kind of normalized.
Yes, it is. So. And I also think it's because this contemporary spiritism, it's been more usual, is because due to the secularity, nobody answered the big questions. What happens when you die? the existential questions.
So
People trust a lot in their own experience, and they have experience of what they interpret to be a ghost or a spirit, or maybe a presence of their lost grandfather. They trust that experience.
That's a really interesting way of looking at it, in a sense, in that if we no longer trust big religion or mainstream religion to answer those existential questions,
Yes.
as you call them, those questions don't go away. We
No.
still remain mortal and remain concerned about what happens beyond the grave.
Yes.
And also that, alongside the tendency of people to put their faith in, not in others, and to be kind of suspicious of authority, but to trust their own experience, really kind of it opens up a real channel
Yes.
for that kind of belief.
Yes. And there you have popular culture coming in and give ideas how you can interpret those experiences and those thoughts.
So they're not just kind of unusual experiences you've had, they fit into a kind of network of beliefs, where it's somewhat more informal than mainstream religion, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.